just before close.
So this is Maximo and this is Tippleton Press. Here we are at the Sheep's Son Distillery in Somerville on the Mornington Peninsula, having a whisky tasting. It's been quite a nice tasting, isn't it?
Very interesting journey through the whiskies that are here. Very nice.
So Paul is a very old friend of mine and a subscriber, aren't you, Paul?
Yes.
So you've hit the like and subscribe buttons at least once, haven't you?
At least once.
At least once. Fantastic. Cheers.
We make 3 different whiskies, 3 different recipes, and that's what we offer here. Unless you are experienced whiskey drinkers and you like your whiskey strong, that is the middle bit, which is the 60% or the cask strength whiskies, and the top, the specialty one, is 1 whiskey, 1 recipe, but finished in a different way or different take on that. Maybe let's do the bottom one.
Okay.
The best, what not the best, but the core range we make here.
Okay.
And we can always add something
Add to
on,
it.
or you
Okay.
can have
Okay,
another tasting if
That
you
sounds
like.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we had 4 different types of whiskies last night.
we did.
Talisker through to
And a cognac
and a cognac.
to finish off.
So our DNA here at Chief's Son Distillery is French oak ex-sherry.
Okay.
So Naomi and Stuart McIntosh, who are the owners, husband and wife, and the distillers here, they've always, once they decided to start this business, they knew that they want to have French oak ex-sherry barrels. Although they did buy some of American oak barrels, they are the old-looking ones. Everything else that's got that blue or green painting, it's French oak ex-sherry. The ones up here are American oak ex-Jack Daniels, which is the traditional way of aging whiskey in Scotland. Obviously, they use barrels, American oak barrels, ex-bourbon. So that brings a little bit of the traditional Scottish influence into our DNA, but mainly we age our whiskey in French oak ex-sherry. So the first one, the Tanist, we start on the left, moving to the right, and the Tanist is the different one. That's the double-wooded whiskey. So that's where the American oak comes into the play. So the American oak gets battered together with the French oak after the whiskey is aged, and basically double-wooded whiskey, but same recipe as the next one, the 900 standard.
I was going to say it's got cherry notes inside here.
So yeah,
It's
mainly it's French oak. Stuart doesn't really say the formula he's using, how much of which and how much of which is in there. But yeah, there is French oak and American oak.
There's definitely oak.
Pretty smooth, very nice.
There is a little bit of smokiness coming through.
Yeah, just
So
a touch.
in terms of the barley we use for the 900 standard and the Tanist, it's 85% of just a standard beer malt, which is a pale malt, and 15% of peated malt. So that's where the smokiness comes from.
It's just
very
a
subtle.
touch of peat. There's a bit of sort of sweet, sort of nectarine or something, or nectar. Quite nice. It's got a bit of bite. What's the alcohol content of this
It's
one?
actually less than the other ones, so it's 43%.
43.
But
Okay.
for some reason it comes through a bit more alcoholic than the other ones, even though it's...
Jane, you don't want to try?
That's quite nice. It's quite bitey, isn't it? Peppery. So this is the 900 standard. It's
Yeah.
45% alcohol.
That's our flagship. That's what we make most of. So on a distillation day, we usually run through roughly 10,000 liters of whiskey wash, which is made for us at the Jetty Road Brewery in Romana. And out of that 10,000 liters of wash, we roughly get 1,000 liters of spirit.
Right.
And that goes into the barrels.
So it's 45%. It's a bit sort of darker, isn't it? Is it a bit more?
So you now moved away from the American oak influence. So in the Tanist there is the influence of the American oak. That's why the color is a little bit lighter.
Right.
And that is now only French oak extract.
French oak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the color is quite deep.
It's quite a nice aromatic nose.
As we say, it's like rum and raisins or Christmas pudding.
Yeah,
that sort of-
Christmas. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. I can
And
taste
again, there is a little bit of that smokiness because it is the same recipe as the Tanist. So there is.
It's just a
15%
hint of
the
smoke
peated.
and quite smoother than the Tanist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
A little less pepper,
Yeah.
smoother. Well, what's the age?
So the whiskies you're drinking today between 3 to 4 years.
Right. Yeah.
So fairly quick process here in Australia.
I'm going to ask a stupid question. Once you bottle it, the aging process stops, or does it continue?
So there is two things that are different to wine. When you taste whiskey, you don't aerate it. I'm sure you know about that. And the
Just
other
trying to
thing
get
is
the aroma there.
after the whiskey is out of the barrel, nothing ever happens to it anymore.
It's quite sort of toffee. It's quite warming. It's 45%, so that's the warmth. Just a hint of smokiness. It's actually nicely balanced Scotch. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. So this is the pure malt. Is that a difference in the distillation?
That and the starting product as the malt is different as
Yeah.
well. So the malt we use for pure malt is it's roasted malt or crystallized malt, which
Right.
is roasted at a higher temperature, so it's slightly darker
Right.
and it kills more of the fermentable sugars again.
Right.
So that is different. So when you have a look at the pale malt, which was the 900 standard and the Tanist, so that one is quite darker.
Right. Okay. So it's been roasted for longer,
At higher temperature.
higher temperature. Yeah. So it's a lighter
And in
colour,
terms-
isn't
because,
it?
yeah, we touched
That's the
on
American
the-
oak.
No, that's all French oak from
All
now
French,
on.
right.
Yeah. So we touched on the distillation process, so we only use the hearts of the distillation for the pure malt. That's why it's called pure. Hence the price. It's not very efficient for us to make it because, as I said before, we roughly get 1,000 liters of spirit with the previous one. With this one, we only get 400 liters.
Okay.
Okay.
That's only because only the hearts are used. The best bit from the distillation, basically. That's what makes it pure, and obviously there is none of that peated malt in it, so there is none of the smokiness. No smokiness in that.
That's quite aromatic. It's rather toffee. It's quite peppery. Again, 45% alcohol. And this is the 900 Sweet Peat. Again, 45% alcohol. Quite a nice, delicate colour.
Oh, that's got a bit of bite to it.
Yeah. It's the last three whiskies have been all 45% alcohol. So I think the characteristics of the whiskey, I think, gives you the bite or lack of. That's quite a nice nose on it as well.
I can pour before 4 o'clock, and then after 4 o'clock you can still drink, but I cannot pour any alcohol.
That's what happened.
That's quite creamy, isn't it? Creamy butterscotch.
Have you had Arabica before?
Sort of vanilla.
Yeah, I tried.
You have?
Yeah. That's what I'm getting. Vanilla,
You haven't?
butterscotch.
So that is the best example of what we make
This is a
here.
bit
The
sort
bottom
of smoother
tasting.
and this is the
It includes
smoothest.
all the whiskies we
The
make
Sweet
here.
Peat. I think that's the 900 Sweet Peat is the nicest. It's quite complex, isn't it?
You can taste the peat.
You can taste the alcohol. It's quite peppery.
But you know what's
quite,
interesting? The first time that I had a peated whiskey, it's like, not too sure about that.
I'm partial to the slightly peatier. I'm still not a huge fan of the really heavily peated ones. I mean, all of them are quite nice, but I think the last one, the Sweet Peat, is the nicest. I think. Certainly a lot going on with all these whiskies, isn't there? Quite sort of delicate yet complex. Enjoying these, Paul?
Yeah. The last one was a better one. I quite enjoyed that. Sweet Peat. I don't think I've had that Sweet Peat.
Haven't you?
No. It's really impressive.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
So how did you go with the sweet peat?
Yeah, that's
Sweet Peat
the
was
nicest of the
that's the nicest.
yeah,
Very
yeah,
nice.
that's the
So our
consensus.
sweet peat is not on the heavy side, it's
Yeah.
on the soft side.
Yeah.
And the reason for it is the peat. That's obviously the only thing we have to import from Scotland.
Yeah.
Not the actual peat, but the already peated barley have a
Right.
smell. But the peat they use in Scotland comes from the Highlands. So
Yeah.
it's not from the Isle of Wight, which
Yeah.
produces the very heavily peated whiskies, but it's from the Highlands, which produces soft peat.
That is quite a strong smoky taste. So that's
But
the
it can be even more.
yeah. So you import the barley from
Already
Scotland
peated, yeah.
that's been roasted in the big peat.
Smoked over the
Yeah,
peat, yeah.
the peat ovens. What are they called? Peat.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the process called? Toasting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back in the day, it just used to be plain fire,
Yeah.
but these days it's obviously progressed.
And
But
the
yeah,
peat
there's
was
still
probably the cheapest thing they could do to
It was the only thing they could use back in Scotland. Apparently, they didn't have trees
yeah.
to burn. They use for fire, so they started using the peat.
Okay.
So they basically cut it out like a turf, and they dry it out, and after that it just burns like that. But unfortunately, or fortunately for the whiskey or the barley, it
Yeah.
produces very thick and heavy smoke.
Yeah.
So that basically
And infuses it into the barley.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that in the distillation process, it retains that sort of smokiness.
It does,
In the
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
almost like the oils in the barley.
Even after it's been smoked, it actually gets grind in the brewery and it gets boiled with hot water.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it still retains
The smokiness.
after that,
Yeah, but it's only
And then
quite
it goes
mild
through
though,
the
isn't it?
Fermentation as well, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah. That's been really nice.
So we put obviously more whiskey to try. As you like to do.
That's it.
Would you like to taste one of the 60% ones? I'd be intrigued to taste one.
Definitely, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna do the 60% one, 58%.
Well, that's
One of
pretty close
our-
to 60.
One of our best whiskeys. So
Yeah.
it goes into a single glass, which is basically the same whiskey.
Right.
It's just stronger.
Is that because it's had less water added to it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when our whiskey comes out of the barrel, it's
Yeah.
anywhere between 67 to 73% of alcohol.
Right.
So that's called the pure cask.
Yeah.
And then we
That's
either
it's
dilute
barrel
it-
strength. Yes.
Yeah, then we either dilute it down to
Yeah.
cask strength, which is 60, or we dilute it down to 45%.
So this is the same 900.
It's a 900 standard, but it's a single cask.
It's sort of overproofed or barrel. Yeah.
It's one barrel that was exceptionally good. So out of
Right.
10 barrels, which
Right.
usually is one batch from distilling, there is 10 barrels of it. There is usually one or two barrels that are exceptionally good.
Right.
They
And-
just
and this is
differ
one
to
of
the
them.
ones-
Yeah.
yes, that is
Yeah.
one of them, yeah.
That's quite stronger in the nose, isn't it? Quite
Yes,
stronger.
the alcohol content, yes, it's
Yes.
high, but it's more about the flavors. So I'm sure you're gonna like that.
It is
That's
nice.
yeah.
It is,
that,
yeah.
That's sort of toffee and caramel,
So what did you think of
maybe like quite a candied cherry,
It just-
almost.
People who normally don't drink
just
whiskey, it's kind of that
evaporates in your mouth.
That's really
It's the easy
intriguing, the nose on this.
but
You've had yours, have you?
Up here we call it actually
This is even better than that Sweet Peat, I think.
So when you think of the
This
French
is
oak,
quite nice,
I
isn't it?
think
It's quite it's quite peppery because of the alcohol, but it's actually quite.
It's not peppery.
It's complex. It's smooth.
Because it's interesting. Now this has got the French barrels, but it's also interesting because the bourbon barrels is actually US law.
you will hardly
Once
get
they've
any
done the
colour
bourbon,
because the
they
colour
can't use those barrels
comes
again.
just from the
So hence they export it to
Hence
Australia
they export it to, hence they
but
export
also they
it to
export it to Scotland as well.
Scotland.
There's quite a
That's
few
why. That's
single
why they
malts.
export to Scotland. Just on the
So that is our new make spirit. So that is the spirit after distillation basically.
Right.
So whiskey on a day one or before it goes into the barrel.
So it's basically vodka.
It is.
Yes.
Well, it's not because the starting product is different. Vodka is slightly
Right.
a different product, but the appearance is just like vodka.
Vodka,
gin
yeah,
because it's a
yeah.
clear,
it's interesting how
it's a clear
the
spirit. But yeah.
tannins out of the barrel come into the whiskey.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we say
And the colour
100% of the color and roughly 50% of the flavor is all down to the
From the
barrels.
barrel. Oh, this has been.
People taste this.
Yeah, I'll just have it.
Absolutely. So it's interesting. It's quite earthy and it has quite a few characteristics of the whiskey already.
I might give it a bit. Yeah.
No.
It's not 73% of alcohol. We actually dilute it down straight away to 63.5.
So this
it
is
goes
63 and a half.
63.5.
Right.
It goes into the barrel at 63.5. In the southern hemisphere here, we gain alcohol in the barrels. So after the 3 to 4
It really
years
goes up the nose.
of the whiskey being in a barrel, the alcohol goes up again, basically.
This smells like grappa.
Yeah,
It's my Italian heritage. It's pretty much what grappa is. It's purely distilled and not barrel fermented or mellowed.
The product is quite grape skins or
Grapes,
something.
yeah, made from grapes.
It's
Yeah,
still kind of grapes and barley, so it's
Yeah.
not completely the same, but I know where you get
yeah, it's a similar grappa sort of taste.
aniseed podcast
Nice.
Yeah.
it ends up being arrow.
Yeah, there's so many different kind of alcohol. and
It's sort of a grappa sort of taste,
Yeah.
and it has been mellowed by the wood.
Well, that one hasn't been in the book yet.
Yeah.
But
got a match?
the one you had before, definitely, yeah.
Try some port.
No.
Just try a little bit. Go
I
on.
can't drink it at all. It's just gone.
It's got a totally different feel to it. You're gonna cough.
It's actually not that bad. It's kind of like a medicine.
No, it's sort of.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, it burns.
It burns, yeah.
It does burn. 63%. So this has been a delightful whiskey tasting.
Yes.
I might have to terminate this video and negotiate a purchase, perhaps, because I need to bring something home to Joe to taste. So it's been really good. Good times with good friends and good whiskies. And on that note, please hit the like and subscribe buttons if you like this.